Tom Hardy adjusted the lapel of his charcoal black blazer, flashed the quick wolfish grin that has melted red carpet flashes from con to Comic-Con, and took his seat opposite the host beneath the hot studio lights. Around him, the set thrummed with an energy recognizable to anyone who has ever hovered at the fringes of Hollywood history being made, a hush of anticipation from the crew, the barely audible click of a Steadicam locking focus, the collective intake of breath that precedes a question you already know will trend the moment it drops. Hardy was here to talk about Venom 3, the next chapter in Sony's ambitious Marvel anti-hero franchise, but the stakes felt bigger than a routine press junket. Search engines were already brimming with phrases like Tom Hardy Venom interview, Eddie Brock's Symbiote secrets, and Spider-Man crossover rumors. Every syllable the British actor uttered, every sideways smile, every rumble of that signature gravel and honey baritone, was destined for millions of hungry thumbnails titled Tom Hardy Best Moments. Yet in this instant, before the first question flew, the 40-something Oscar-nominated chameleon sat utterly still, projecting the same coiled spring intensity he once brought to Bane, Mad Max, and Alfie Solomons. The red tally light winked alive, the host leaned forward, and the conversation that followed would rocket through trending pages, ignite fan theories on Reddit, and reveal more about Hardy's shape-shifting artistry than any previous late-night appearance. The story gets interesting towards the end. Don't forget to watch the rest and subscribe to the channel. Right then, mate, let's talk teeth, Hardy began, beating the interviewer to the punch with a sly self-deprecation that drew laughter from the control booth. He tapped one incisor with a fingertip, referencing the razor-sharp fangs CGI artists will soon cloak in ink-black goo. That single gesture broke the tension and announced to the global audience that Tom Hardy, method actor, action star, meme king, had arrived ready to spill symbiote secrets. It was the perfect hook, authentic, irreverent, and algorithm-approved. Behind him, a massive LED wall flashed highlights of previous Venom trailers, each frame awash in neon and dripping with the promise of comic book carnage. In Los Angeles, it was barely 10 a.m. In London, fans who had camped overnight outside the Apple Store watched the live stream on OLED screens, thumbs twitching above like buttons. Across TikTok, creators readied duet reactions with captions such as, "Hardy just confirmed multiverse." The interview, 30 minutes on the schedule, was poised to echo for weeks across YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and every SEO-hungry blog clawing for a slice of Hardy's cult magnetism. He leaned in, elbows on knees, and the mic caught a low chuckle.
You want the headline? Venom's hungry, and I'm hungry.
With that single sentence, 11 words destined to dominate Google's People Also Ask panel, Tom Hardy cracked open the first act of a conversation that would fuse backstage anecdotes, philosophical musings about duality, and an accidental confession that sent Marvel Twitter scrambling.
I would like to talk to those who have watched the movie. Please leave your thoughts in the comments.
The host's first official question landed gentle. Tom, audiences can't wait for Venom 3. How does returning to Eddie Brock differ from your other career comebacks? Say, stepping back into Mad Max or Alfie. Hardy's eyes sparked. Eddie's dance with the symbiote is like boxing a mirror. Every round reveals something grotesque, yet liberating. He drummed knuckles on the tabletop, the rhythm unconsciously matching the Venom theme Thrum fans recognize from the soundtracks. When you live inside Marvel's most unpredictable anti-hero, you surrender to chaos. He described 4 a.m. call times in Atlanta, weight-cut nights fueled by steamed cod and black coffee, and stunt rehearsals where he purposely refused a harness to feel the raw yank of practical rigs, because Venom doesn't do safety nets. SEO gold phrases tumbled naturally. Method acting for comic book movies, Venom workout routine, Tom Hardy 2025 press tour. He admitted he kept a battered Amazing Spider-Man 300, Venom's first comic appearance, in his trailer, pages taped back together by sticky fingers of his youngest son. "He's my little continuity advisor," Hardy laughed, voice softening. "If a scene doesn't honor Eddie's moral gray zone, he'll tell me." The host pivoted to fan theories. Will Venom 3 finally collide with Tom Holland's Spider-Man? Hardy arched a brow. "Sony snipers are everywhere," he joked, scanning the studio rafters. But let's say these universes have gravitational pull. The phrase, gravitational pull, exploded on Twitter within minutes, trending alongside #SymbioteSaga. Hardy then explored the psychological lure of villainy. We all wear masks. Mine just happens to drool and eat heads. He credited director Kelly Marcel, longtime collaborator and screenwriter, with encouraging improv sessions where Hardy debated with himself in two voices, one Eddie's anxious rasp, the other Venom's booming growl. Imagine arguing with your id while 120 crew members watch, he smiled. If I get it wrong, YouTube will loop it forever. Talk shifted to the film's socio-political subtext, corporate greed, alienation in the digital age. Hardy cited Fight Club, The Fly, and Taxi Driver as tonal ancestors. Venom is a self-portrait of 2025 anxiety, he said, name-dropping Pulitzer-winning physicist Brian Greene to explain multiversal metaphors. He spoke of practical effects teams engineering one-take slime rigs. It tastes like salty blackberry jam. He recalled a night scene drenched in Vancouver rain, where his mic picked up real thunder that they kept in the final mix because the sky was method acting too. The story gets interesting towards the end. Don't forget to watch the rest and subscribe to the channel. The interviewer produced a surprise prop, a battered motorcycle helmet Hardy wore during Venom 2. Instantly the actor slipped it on, deepening his timbre to Venom's growl. Lethal Protector reporting for interview duty. The crowd in the studio, socially distanced but fervent, erupted. Clips of the moment would later headline TikTok's Tom Hardy hilarious Venom voice. Hardy then quoted Shakespeare's Iago, weaving highbrow references into blockbuster banter, a signature that keeps critics intrigued and search algorithms fed. He dissected acting with invisible partners, praising performance capture pioneer Andy Serkis. "It's theater of the mind," he said, tapping his temple. "You must believe black goo is whispering homicidal poetry in your ear." A fan-submitted question popped on screen. "Tom, if Venom could interview you, what would he ask?" Hardy didn't miss a beat. Switching to that resonant monster bass, he rumbled, "Why so many tattoos, tiny human?" Shifting back to Eddie's anxious stutter, "Because you're permanently under my skin, mate," he grinned at the host. Duality is the actor's playground. Moments later came the slip that detonated across fandoms. Discussing on-set improvisation, Hardy casually referenced the rooftop scene with the other guy in red and blue. The host's eyebrows vaulted. Hardy froze, realization flickering. Did I say that aloud? Too late. Within seconds, chat feeds lit with confirmed Spider-Man cameo. The Publicist's Backstage paled. Hardy tried to course correct. Could have been Deadpool. He's fond of rooftops. The damage, if one calls a marketing supernova damage, was done. SEO trackers recorded a 900% spike in Venom Spider-Man crossover. He shifted to philanthropic angles, highlighting his REORG charity supporting injured veterans through Jiu-Jitsu. Symbiotes heal, people should too. He urged viewers to donate, prompting a surge that briefly crashed the charity's site. The host praised Hardy's authenticity. "Your fans feel you're one of them." Hardy shrugged. "I just play dress-up and talk to myself for a living." Asked for career regrets, he referenced the infamous MySpace rap demo with self-effacing humor. If Venom ever hears that tape, he'll eject. He teased future ambitions, a small black-and-white A24 drama about silence, starring me and a sock. The internet seized on Tom Hardy silent film rumor. As the interview wound down, Hardy removed an in-ear monitor, revealing a tiny Venom logo engraved on the shell. Reminder to listen to the monster within, then edit before speaking. Cameras zoomed. Stills would headline Entertainment Tonight. The host invited a final message to fans. Hardy leaned closer, that smoky whisper turning intimate. "Stay weird, stay hungry, and remember, your darkest voice might be your greatest superpower. Just feed it something better than fear." The line hit like a mic drop. TikTok stitched it into motivational montages by sunset. I would like to talk to those who have watched the movie. Please leave your thoughts in the comments. When the red tally light dimmed and crew applauded, Hardy exhaled a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. Outside the studio, dusk painted Los Angeles gold, and hashtags bearing his name pulsed across continents. The accidental Spider-Man hint had already spawned reaction videos from New Delhi to Sao Paulo. Sony executives might bristle, but Hardy understood. Fandom thrives on mystery, and even missteps become marketing rocket fuel. He walked toward the backstage corridor, passing interns clutching clipboards plastered with trending data. One whispered, "Sir, Google just pushed Tom Hardy Venom interview full to page 1 news." Hardy winked. "Tell Google I said thanks for the lift." He texted his 8-year-old son. "Dad maybe said too much. Keep secret?" A dozen laughing cry emojis arrived in reply. In the green room, he peeled off the blazer, the lining embroidered with the phrase, "We are Venom," and tugged a battered hoodie overhead. Fame, he knew, was symbiotic too. It could elevate or consume you depending on the deal you struck. He'd spent decades mastering that balance, feeding the beast just enough candor to keep it purring. A publicist rushed in, eyes wide. "Tom, the clip of you roaring in Venom voice hit 2 million views in 40 minutes. Hardy popped a grape into his mouth. "Good for the charity link?" "Off the charts." He nodded, satisfied. Then lower. "And the rooftop line?" The publicist grimaced. "Let's call it strategic ambiguity." Hardy laughed. "Ambiguity's free marketing, love." He stepped outside into the velvet California night. Fans clustered behind barricades, clutching Funko Pops and vintage Bronson posters. Hardy signed in quick loops, snapping selfies, giving each person a moment of undivided attention. Proof that beneath the symbiote swagger lies a craftsman who remembers standing on the other side of that barrier. One teenage girl, tears brimming, trembled as she asked if Eddie Brock would ever say, "I love you," to Venom on screen. Hardy leaned close, voice low. "He already does, every time he lets him stay." The girl burst into happy sobs. The quote would headline BuzzFeed within an hour. Later, alone in his car, Hardy reflected on the interview's chaotic perfection. He had delivered SEO-rich soundbites, Tom Hardy Venom training, Venom 3 plot, Tom Hardy multiverse tease. He had planted heartfelt advocacy for veterans and mental health. He had accidentally, or not, stoked the greatest crossover rumor of the decade. Most important, he had stayed true to the art, speaking about duality, fear, and the joy of embracing one's inner monster. As traffic lights blurred along Sunset, Hardy opened the Voice Memos app, recording thoughts for tomorrow's shoot. Note to self: Venom's rage is childlike wonder twisted by pain. Play the wonder. He saved the file, titled it Hunger Notes, and smiled. The world would keep searching his name, feeding the symbiote of fame. But Tom Hardy knew the deepest algorithm was the human heart, always craving a story about darkness redeemed by unlikely light, and in that algorithm, he intended to rank number 1. Yet while the engine purred beneath him and neon advertisements pulsed across windshield glass like alien glyphs, Hardy felt another, quieter hunger stir, one that had nothing to do with box office numbers or trending hashtags. It was the pull of craft itself, the thrill of disappearing into a role so completely that the line between host and guest dissolved. Venom, Bane, Reggie Cray, each had asked him to surrender a slice of his psyche, and each time he'd obliged, emerging a little bruised, a little wiser, and always ravenous for the next descent. He flicked his indicator, letting a Prius slide ahead, then considered how fame, like a symbiote, whispered seductive half-truths. "You are invincible. Everyone is food." He'd seen peers swallow that lie whole, only to be hollowed out from the inside.